This is Mitchell Elf Bird Migration Center 4. Where or who goes where? In this center, you're going to compare the migration patterns of selected birds and the distance they travel during migration. And so, materials you're going to need to do that include some maps and this globe that you'll blow up and some other groovy things. So let's get started. So in Center 4, the first thing you're going to do is pass out these bird passports. And the passport cards have different species on them. A hummingbird, ruby-throated hummingbird. Look at these next. A red-winged blackbird, an Arctic tern, a downy woodpecker, and some of them repeat. A peregrine falcon, and a bar-headed goose. Those are the main ones. And so, you're going to have each student select the bird species and then take a look on the globe, which you will blow up. I'm not going to blow it up right now, but you can deflate it each time so it'll fit in there. There are alcohol wipes to clean off the mouthpiece part for inflating. And you're going to use the globe and use the information that's on the back of these cards to show, for instance, the Arctic tern, its summer range is Maine and areas north. And their winter range is South Africa, Southern Africa, and areas south. And so you'll have them kind of take a look at the globe, and they can have a three-dimensional perspective of how far of a migration that would be. And then, and go around and have the kids do that, and have them talk about why birds migrate and what the route has to be that they take, as well as obstacles they might face. And so listed in your outline are some of the following methods of navigation: seasonal star patterns, they think trigger migration; the Earth's magnetic pole, using the sun and the moon and the stars as locators, help them find their way; their sense of smell, like for instance of the ocean; and sight, their landmarks, like rivers; the winds, which give directional clues, like wind changes through the valley; and then the barometric pressure and echoing off of landforms. All of those things help birds migrate. So using the passport cards as a guide, you're going to have the students put a sticker on these maps. Hopefully the outline will say just a regular sticker, but if it says gold star, it means sticker. And you'll have them put, so for instance, the Arctic tern, so its summer range was Maine. So we'll find Maine is probably up here somewhere. Yep, up here. And you can put a dot there. Maybe I should have picked a different color dot than that. So there's my dot where the Arctic tern starts. And its winter range is Southern Africa and areas south. So for winter, it flies all the way down here to Southern Africa. So that's a pretty amazing visual for the kids to think about, how far that flies. The peregrine falcon starts in Alaska and up here, and that's its summer range in northwestern U.S., so up here, Alaska and up here, jeepers. And its winter range is down here, Central and South America. So again, another good visual. If they've been to some other centers, you could talk about that they probably migrate on the Pacific Flyway, maybe on the Central Flyway if they're in states over here, but most likely Pacific Flyway. Then you might start discussing how far that is, and so you can take, when you discuss how far that is, you'll take some string and you'll measure, and hopefully you'll have a pair of scissors that I will provide, and then you'll use this ruler that's been calculated. Each thing goes so many thousand miles, and you'll put it there. And so, for instance, the peregrine falcon has migrated 5,500 miles to get from Alaska down to Panama, if that's where they're hanging out. So, you can talk about the scale on this ruler. You can definitely cut this string up so it's easier to measure. As you go, there will be scissors in here. Let me see what else. There's a book, How Do Birds Find Their Way? That is a great book that you can use as a supplemental. That would work really good with the younger kids when you're doing the other activity with the older kids, which is filling out sticky note information about their bird. So let's say they picked the peregrine falcon. You would have them, and there's a whole sheet in here that shows you what to do. Oops. You would have them on their sticky note write their name, the name of their bird, where it hangs out in summer, where it hangs out in winter, and then with a regular ruler, you'll measure the inches, and then with our special mileage ruler, you'll translate that into miles. And there's a couple examples right here on the bottom of how to do that. As with all activities in these ELF centers, you can pick and choose what you'd like to do. So if you don't want to have the kids do the sticky notes, that's your choice. I think the sticky notes are a great way to have the kids take home information, but that's totally up to you. So, let me see. Another great book, or I mean not a great book, but a couple more handouts that are in this center include this laminated sheet, How High Do Birds Fly? And so it tells you different, so like swifts and swallows fly just under a mile above, but like bar-headed geese fly 30,000 feet above the earth, almost as high as planes. So that's a neat visual for that. This talks about the obstacles, having a safe path to find it to home, and you could do this as a group. It's kind of a maze thing. And then there's information here about the world's longest migration, found to be 2 times longer than previously thought, and that's the Arctic tern. And there's information you could go through and read yourself, or read and go over with the kids. So that's about it for ELF Center 4. If you have any questions, you can email us at mitchelelf@gmail.com. And this is a great center for visually explaining just how enormous a task migration is. Have fun.